welcome to Ask Ben, the wisdom and witticisms of Benjamin Franklin. In this program, we attempt to answer your questions as we think Ben would. Today we have a letter from someone who wishes to remain anonymous. We'll call her Hester. Miss Hester from Anytown, USA. Miss Hester writes, Dear Ben, when did you die, and what was the cause of your death? Well, Miss Hester, a sobering question indeed. To be specific, I expired April 17th, 1790, at the ripe old age of 84. But my spirit lives on, you know. I am reminded I once observed several flies that had drowned in a cask of Madeira wine. And then, after a while, the flies revived. I thought to myself, what a way to go. I should prefer to die just like those flies, being immersed in Madeira wine with a few good friends, until, of course, I could be recalled to life, say 100 years later, to observe all the wonderful changes wrought in my dear country. But alas, that's not actually how it ended for me. Excuse me. Now where was I? After my participation in the Constitutional Convention of 1787, I was finally finished with public life. But at last, I only had another 3 years to enjoy. The exact cause of my death was pleurisy, lung disease. I actually contracted the condition when I was younger. Of course, I had been suffering for some time with the gout and a rather large bladder stone. Sorry, Miss Hester, TMI. Anyway, it was a wonderful funeral. You should have been there. All of Philadelphia turned out. I mean, about 20,000 people or so. They showed up when the entire population of the city at that time was just a little over 28,000. You know, I've often said, if you want not to be forgotten, either write things worth reading or do things worth writing. Well, with all due modesty, I think I've been fortunate enough to do both in my rather lengthy lifetime. Well, getting back to the funeral, it started from the Pennsylvania State House. You probably know it as Independence Hall. It was led by the clergy of all faiths, I might add, followed by members of city council, a few judges and politicians thrown in the mix, and then came the printers of the city and their apprentices. You know, I've always considered myself a leathern apron guy, a man of the people, a regular person. The church bells were muffled and tolling. Ladies were crying, men were somber. It was quite the scene. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Conspicuously absent, however, was the president, George Washington, and members of Congress. Of course, they were in New York City, our nation's capital at the time, very busy, I suppose, running the country. Yet anyhow, even without such luminaries present, the funeral was the largest Philadelphia had ever seen. The whole city mourned. America mourned. France mourned. Dare I say, the whole world mourned. Sorry, I'm getting carried away. You know what they say, pride goeth before a fall. Well, that's what the good book says anyway. I gotta remember to watch that, especially now that I'm gone. I was laid to rest on April 21st beside my dear departed wife, Deborah, and our little son, Francis, who had died at age 4 from the smallpox. Deborah, God rest her soul, had expired 25 years before me. Now, as a young man, I once composed a mock epitaph for myself. I wrote, "The body of B. Franklin, printer, like the cover of an old book, the contents torn out, and stripped of its lettering and gilding, lies here food for worms. But the work shall not be wholly lost, for it will, as he believed, appear once more in a new and more perfect edition, corrected and amended by the author. But in the end, the simple inscription on my tombstone reads, Benjamin and Deborah Franklin, 1790. Very succinct. Today, tourists from all over the world visit Philadelphia and throw pennies and change on my grave for good luck. Don't they know what poor Richard admonished? Penny saved is a penny earned. Save your pennies, Miss Hester, and thanks for your question. Now, for the rest of you folks, please don't send me any more cards, letters, or emails. I'm gone now. They'll just end up in the dead letter office. However, I might point out, ladies, I may be dead, but I'm still available for birthdays and bachelorette parties. I'm in the book. Thanks for watching. Farewell, adieu, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's hope so.